joined tonight by first guest on the program is a member of the House of Representatives, one of the sponsors, the lead sponsors of the 6-year single-term tenure for presidents and governors. They are of the opinion that when that happens, it will allow effectiveness of governance in the country, and also the division of the country into 6 geopolitical zones. That bill failed to sail through the second reading, and tonight I'm being joined by Honorable Ugochinyere, Ikenga Ugochinyere. Thank you so much, Honorable, for joining us tonight. I'm reading now that you are not backing down. You are hoping to push ahead to represent that matter. But it doesn't look that you can represent that bill in this present or the ongoing constitutional amendment process. Can you?
I say that after exhausting all the legislative timeline, it will be represented. That is on the floor at the next legislative session. But secondly, we also say that we have compiled that submission also, and by God's grace, tomorrow on Monday, we'll be submitting it to the Constitutional Amendment Committee. So that is why I say that hope is still alive, and that is a temporary setback, and that the struggle to have the 6-year single term rotation of power between North and South, and then the governorship seat, and our election in one day is still on.
33 of you, I understand, presented or sponsored that bill, but it doesn't look like it got a popular vote amongst your colleagues. Why did you think they shut it down at the second reading?
Well, I think in parliamentary business, there must be yes and no. There's nothing extraordinary about it. And people have different views about some of these issues. It's not the first time the 6-year single proposal is coming up. But like I said before, more consultation will be carried out. It will be represented to convince members to see more reason from our own angle. And we're also very hopeful that at the Constitutional Amendment Committee, it will say to some people said most of the issues that were joined together brought more pressure on the bill. Some people disagree with the 6-year single term. Some were not comfortable with rotation of power and so on and so forth. So most members of the view that issues should be separated and submitted as single issues. So I can tell you that it will still say through.
But I mean, what do you think if you are to readjust or review or amend the bill for representation? What in your mind do you think is politically hindering the bill or giving fears, creating fears in the minds of some of your colleagues?
Well, I think I do not want to get to the point of saying our members are progressive, they are passionate about change in the country and constitutional reforms. And I can tell you that the bill was not debated for most members to also see reasons why this proposal is timely. But at the same time, I can tell you that some people don't like the single-term presidency. Some want power to rotate between North and South. Some are not comfortable with the election in one day. It's something that is different. But like I said before, more consultation will be carried out to be able to bring everybody on board. It's not a problem.
With what you have seen, right, there are those who think that you didn't play enough politics of lobbying your colleagues into acceding to your proposal. Are you rethinking your strategies now?
The lobbying, but like I said, we're 34 of us already who are pushing the proposal, and we reached that. And like I said, we're still going to reach out. We'll notice some things that were not done right, and we're going to correct it.
I mean, with the benefit of hindsight now, are you thinking of unbundling that bill because it has too many layers in it, has too many components? Are you thinking of unbundling it?
I just said that we're going to unbundle. Most people felt it was heavy on them to deal with the issue of power rotation between North and South, to deal with the issue of all elections in one day, to deal with the issue of 6-year single term. Some people want to even run for governorship in their state, and they feel rotating the governorship seat in my hand. So there's a lot of issues that brought a lot of pressure on the bill. And because of that, we're going to unbundle, like we just asked, and then take a single and it will sell.
Honorable, what in your mind do you think is a significance of that bill? How important do you think it could bring a change to Nigeria?
Well, like I said before, advancing and deepening our constitutional democracy and governance is key to bringing stability, all inclusion, politics, and justice. First of all, if you have one election in one day, it will bring a large turnout of voters. It's going to reduce the cost of conducting elections, and it's going to clean up the accreditation process. For instance, if the same accreditation you use in announcing the State House of Assembly on the day of all election in one day is the same accreditation for the presidential and governorship. So in the evening, the accreditation figures cannot change because it has already been used to announce the House of Assembly and other elections, and it's going to reduce costs. And if we rotate power between North and South and also rotate power among the senatorial zone, it will help to bring so much inclusion, and it's going to de-escalate tension and bring stability. And when you go for 6 years single term, a leader that has 6 years uninterrupted timeline can be able to embark on sustainable development program that can enhance the welfare of their people. Instead of so much energy we are not spending in re-election. Short, what leaders have now to perform is just 2 years, because 2 years into your tenure now, everybody is warming up to say, I'm going to challenge you and not to challenge you. And government decision is not guided by the quest to win a second term. And I think having a 6 year single term will give a long term for sustainable development to be in place. So the most important thing here is the issue of inclusion, justice, equity, and transitional stability. Let's go past it. This is almost going to 100 years of existence, and we're still battling on issues of transition stability, credible elections, inclusive election, and so on and so forth. We should be talking about advanced development issues. That's why let's resolve these issues, and then we can be able to jumpstart other issues that will help in making the Nigerian state move forward.
Let's move quickly to other issues that I know that are of significance and perhaps issues that you can also relate with. One of it is the arrest of Simon Ekpa. Let me get your view on that process that is going on in Finland, and one man that his thoughts and his interventions and cyberspace activity is said to have allegedly caused a lot of tension in the Southeast region, which you represent in the National Assembly. How do you view that arrest, the arrest of Simon Ekpa?
On the issue, we're trying to get all the details we need from Finland. So as a matter of fact, we're on Zoom meeting with some of our lawyers to get all the needed details and the offenses and so on and so forth. And as a matter of fact, I'll be speaking on Sunday right from here, and these are the issues I will talk about. So because of that, I will not want to preempt what will be the decision of the opposition coalition pertaining to that. They will give me that mandate, and I'll be speaking on Sunday on that.
I mean, what is the position of some of you in this regard? Are you in support of some of the agitation that Simon Ekpa represents?
And that's why I said that every comment on this issue will be made on Sunday, so that I will be in line with the decision of the members of the coalition.
There are understanding now that the federal government of Nigeria has attributed the arrest of Simon Ekpa, the self-acclaimed prime minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, to sustain diplomatic pressure on Finland by Nigeria. Do you reckon that some of the unrest that we see, seeing in the Southeast has been fueled by Simon Ekpa?
You're very smart. You always have a way of trying to go back to the same issue that I have also told you, that my statement will be guided by the general decision of the coalition, which is meeting tonight, and I'll be speaking live on Sunday. So anything I say now, one word or the other, preempt what I'll be saying on Sunday. So
without prejudice to what you and your colleagues might be talking about on Sunday. But the extradition matter, as a lawyer and a lawmaker, would you say that it would be fair to bring him here to Nigeria to answer to some of these allegations?
These are things you should wait on Sunday when I speak, so that they can get all the full details. Any comment I make on it to be preempting a decision that have not been made.
All right. Let me not get you out of what you don't want to say until Sunday. But let me get you to Rivers State. I know that a lot of the times you have given your intervention on what has happened in Rivers State. There was a judgment from the appellate court, from the appeal court in Abuja division against the decision of Justice Lifo on the Rivers matter in respect of the local government elections, which barred the INEC and security agencies from their participation or releasing documents for that election. But I mean, let me get your reaction first and foremost. You are one that has spoken so loudly about it. A lot of people have questioned. What is the interest of Ugochinyere about Rivers matter? But now that the appellate court has given a decision that seems to have suits your own, I mean, may have satisfied you in one way. How do you react to it?
First of all, there's nothing personal about this. It's about our constitutional democracy and the right thing being done at all times. We speak on issues across every part of the country. It's not nothing so special about River State. The most important thing here is that the issues that were ruled on by the court of first instance by the appeal court have decided that these issues were murky, those decisions were murky, and they were made out of jurisdiction. If you look at their decision on issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, in particular issue 5, where the court imported a prayer that was not asked by the plaintiff. And the appeal court said, yes, even though the court has power, jurisdiction, to raise a matter suo motu, but it doesn't have jurisdiction to resolve his suo motu without hearing and giving adequate time to the other parties. They struck down Section 60 of the River State Independent Electoral Reset Law on the issue of the fact that no court can stop the conduct of an election. That was not one of the prayers by the plaintiff, but the court of first instance was so generous, like Father Christmas, to even import that and then took a decision. And because if you look at the case of TV, the case of APC versus Udom 2023 by the Supreme Court, that you cannot do that. And again, talks about the issue of jurisdiction, that the issues they were asking for are issues that the Federal High Court have no jurisdiction. And also the Supreme Court have decided that over time, Ejialo versus Imo State Governor, Osun State Independent Electoral Commission versus Timothy and so on and so forth, that even though that there's federal agencies involved, that does not automatically confer jurisdiction on the Federal High Court. That what is the subject matter? Conduct of a local government election that is under the jurisdiction of the River State Independent Electoral Commission and supposed to be handled by the State High Court. That why did you not dabble into? So based on that, they said the case in its entirety lacked merit and decided to dismiss it. So the most important thing that it doesn't even call for like celebration, because to me, doing the right thing most times, I don't say it calls for celebration, because ordinarily the Federal High Court should have known that what they were doing was wrong. So yes, this is victory for democracy, it's victory for constitutional governance, but for this fact to have been restated, it has already been restated by the Supreme Court over and over again. So why do somebody have to keep doing that? Just maybe you do it and then hope that it can be upheld by the appeal court or the Supreme Court. So to me, it's a good decision. It has helped to also deepen our constitutional democracy. But at the same time, we must not continue to keep going back to the court to keep seeking interpretation on issues that Supreme Court over and over have also decided.
Well, Honorable, Justice Lifu, in his judgment at the trial court, established that there are processes in an election, one of which includes the fact that there is supposed to be election in itself is not an end. I mean, a means to an end. It's a process, a gamut of activities leading to the voting day. I mean, the court established in that judgment and the High Court that, look, you should have published. There are days specified by law for you to have published the names of voters. There are other issues relating to the revision of voter register, which was not done by RCEC. And these are established principles about our elections, which RCEC has failed to establish.
Well, they went and imported all the provisions of the Electoral Act, and they were talking about that Section 9 and so on and so forth. But the appeal court said that not everything that is in the Electoral Act, if you go by the division of elections under Section 152 of that Act, that is covered, that the local government election is not among those elections, that those sections and processes they are talking about. So we have to revert to the sections in the River State Independent Electoral Commission Act, which made provisions for publication. So the method of publication and advertising for the elections and the candidate and the nomination under the RISEC law is different from the provisions under the Electoral Act they were talking about. And also, more importantly, that voter registration did not stop 30 days to the conduct of that election. And then when you talk about it did not stop, they didn't produce any evidence to show there was even an ongoing voter registration exercise by INEC. So the most important thing is that these people, when they went to this court, wasn't after deepening our constitutional governance. It was not about stop Governor Fubara from conducting the local government election. If you remember, one of the conditions during the presidential initiative that Tinubu initiated was that they feared that the governor would not do election, that they wanted the election. And they made the governor to sign that there will be election. So at the moment we are nearing the election, they extended the tenure of the local government chairman whose tenure have expired, that they should remain in office forever. And then they said, no, that let there be an election. And then when we now got to the election, they now went to court and then got an order again and said there should be no election. So you can, even when after the election, when the people were about to be sworn in again, they went again, started burning down the local government election that they should not be sworn in. So the whole issue, I have to be honest with you because I don't know how to waste time over an issue, is the fact that the Pro-Wike group does not want a local government election that will come from the Governor Fubara-led leadership. That was what it's all about. That's what led us to, okay, if we go by the interpretation in what they were seeking at the Federal High Court, there will be no local government election again in Nigeria because people will not say, for you to have local government election, INEC must continue to do continuous voter registration process, there must be this one. So, all these things were just like...
But Honorable, are you not concerned that the exercise or the process is already skewed when the umpire failed to comply with his own rules and the guidelines and the laws that guide the operation of such a commission?
The procedure, that's what I'm saying. They are the one lying with all the applications that are filing. The provision of the RISEC law on the issue of publishing the notice, publishing the candidate list, we have followed. Most political parties that participated had that notice. Those notices were there. And they were the one who admitted that the notice was public, but it's not complete. In one point, they are saying the notice was public, but it was not up to 90 days or 300 days. On another one, they said there was no notice. So the most important thing is that if they have participated in that election, they would have seen the notice, they would have seen those processes complete. But they refused to participate in that election. And while that election was about to hold, they said the election will not hold. The key thing here is that they never wanted this election to hold, just because you are having issues with the government.
So now let's establish there are possibilities that this case might be taken up to the Supreme Court. And there are possibilities also that those who are being injured by the outcome of these elections might find solace and find healing at the apex court, isn't it? Do you have that fear?
Of course, most of them are professional litigants. Even when they don't have any cause for case, they want to file a case because they have almost 80 cases now. So I will not be surprised if they go to Supreme Court. But what I asking, the Supreme Court should give you an order that the court can stop election. The very moment Supreme Court does that, as we head to 2027, there will be multiple applications. State Assembly election will be stopped, presidential will be stopped under one excuse or the other. So the framers of our law knows that politicians most times are anarchists, that if you allow them have that opportunity, each other at the point of announcement of the law, there will be injunctions to stop it, just like what happened during the Abiola and Humphrey Nwosu days, that threw the country into a serious constitutional crisis. Yes, they will go to appeal. It's within their power to go to appeal. But I can tell you, as a good observer of political development in the country, there's no court in the land that will create a template that will allow politicians to stop elections under one excuse or the other.
Honorable, I see that you are very happy. It does look like Sim Fubara has won, APP has won, Wike has lost, APC has lost, and it does look like PDP lost in this case. Well, somehow PDP, one leg of the PDP has lost. That does appear to look like the situation right now in Rivers State, isn't it?
I don't want you to make it a personal issue of APP have won, Fubara won. No, I think the Constitution won. The democratic principle have been re-established, and it's not yet victory because those anti-democratic forces are still looking around the corner. Is it that one moment they want election not to hold at all, or they want allocation of a state to be seized, to throw the state into a state of economic crisis, or they want those who are no longer lawmakers who have decamped, and I saw them on your TV station the day they were decamping, to be reinstated so that they can make an attempt to illegally attempt to impeach a governor. So it's not yet Uhuru, because there are people whose heart does not like stability, they like confusion. So it's not yet over.
Honorable, the reason why I asked that question is that you particularly, always, you have not made it a secret, and you have always looked like you have a ground to grind with Nyesom Wike, the minister of the FCT. And it does look like, as far as you're concerned, you think that is a problem of the PDP and Rivers State. With what has happened, and those of you, there are those who think that there are those on the other side who have their way with the courtroom, but it does look at the appeal court judgment had ruled in a way that has dismissed or messed up that particular narrative, that no one has the power of our courts.
Well, that is what we're hoping and praying for. And there's nothing personal about it because I don't have the same line of business with him and I don't have the same kind of ambition with him. So I don't have any issue that warrants me to have any personal issue. He's the one that, of course, he was on your station the other time. He was live on your station. I saw where he called me a crab, a shaker or something. I saw the other day he said he doesn't know me. I saw the other day he said he knows me. So each time he says he has one thing or the other to say, but I cannot go down to that level to start saying all those things because my father raised me very well on these issues. But let's remain on the issues. The most important thing is that the way PDP is going, which you can attest to, and the role he's playing in staying in APC, doing APC work, and insisting on ensuring that the leadership of the party must remain, even though they have no legal status to remain in office, all points to the fact that he just wants to destroy PDP. It's not like it's the problem of PDP. The people I blame is some of the governors of PDP and some of PDP leaders who have not been able to be man enough to stand up to stop this child. It's kindergarten politics. It's children's play to stop it, because I don't understand why you have a national chairman of a party and a national secretary of a party who seems to be in bed with the ruling government, and people seems to be comfortable with that and are filing cases in court to keep themselves in office. And then the man you mentioned is them and his G5 people will tell you that they're working for APC while at the same time still struggling for control of PDP with us. Do you think that is decent? Is that how democracy was built in Nigeria? If Azikiwe them and Awolowo they were alive, we saw people who are running around like clowns now be running in midst of conversation if Awolowo them were alive. So this standard is low. I don't know where they learn it from. As a student of history, it's disgusting. It makes me feel like I want to throw. Because what are we struggling over in PDP? What are we fighting over in PDP? That the almighty PDP that once had 32 states have been reduced to something that that people are playing with and struggling. I'm in another party, I'm working for another party, but I'm telling you that this party I must control it, and leaders of the party are treating it with kids gloves. Some governors, because they have been offered one thing or the other, or maybe they have been told that if you follow them to sabotage PDP, you choose your successor, you win your re-election, and you cannot boldly stand up to say stop this nonsense, stop this madness, and let the right Nigerians, we are looking up to PDP. We're not beginning to lose confidence in PDP. The mess is too much.
Honorable, before I allow you go, I mean, Segun Showumi was here the other day, and I was surprised. He was blaming President Bola Tinubu for the problem of the PDP. And he was saying that he is a hand that is distorting and disrupting the People's Democratic Party. Well, a lot of people will wonder, what has Tinubu has to do with what is happening in another person's house? But my final question to you right now will be, there is still problem with Rivers State, because it does not look like the funds accrued to the Rivers State will go to them because of the ombuds over these local government issues. Are you worried about the coming days with Sim Fubara and his government over federal allocation?
No, I'm not worried, because when I saw the thing you are referring to, the matter had been challenged, courts have had it, and judgment had been reserved. I have never seen where there will be a judgment that is being appealed and judgment is being awaited, and somebody wants to enforce it. I don't think federal government will want to take that part. That can only happen in Nkurunziza's Burundi. So I don't think federal government will do that, because the matter had been appealed and judgment had been reserved. So why are you rushing to want to seize allocation? And most important, allocation is like a symbol of federation. It is different from budget. Budget comes after you have received the allocation, it drops in your state, the state assembly starts budgeting. But when you want to go and seize the allocation, it's like you're seizing the symbol of constitutional democracy and federation. That thing is statutory revenue of that. Okay, what happens to if there's irrevocable payment or that attached to that money that has to do with bank or foreign lending institution? What happens to other obligations? What happens to statutory transfers of the state? What will happen to the judiciary? What will happen to teacher salary? So the Wike group will be so proud to go to Abuja, seize the allocation of that state, and there will be no salary, there will be no payment, there will be no obligation. I don't think federal government will, because if federal government goes towards that part, they'll be pitching themselves with the people of Rivers who are part of the federating unit. I don't think any government will do that. We need to wait for the matter to be decided or to Supreme Court before we can now start having this conversation.
Honorable Ugochinyere, thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.